Hi. Good morning. Hmm. Good morning, Mari. Good morning, AWOL. Good morning, Sparkle Sprout. Thanks for being here so early. You guys get the prize. Someday I'll learn not to slam my drinks into my microphone. If you can still hear me. Oh. Okay, hi. That's like right in front of my mouth. Good morning. And what a morning it is. I saw the Planet of the Apes movie yesterday, and it was really good. And the king just keeps saying, "What a wonderful day." And I like that. I like when like characters say things over and over and it like sticks. And it feels iconic even though it's like not immediately iconic. That part really stuck out in the trailer, so I was excited to see it in the movie. It was a cool movie. I really like those movies. Oh, and then I ate too much artichoke dip last night during Zach's stream, and I woke up and my stomach hurts, and I have all these things to do today. So I'm just gonna brave it. Here's this vegetable smoothie. Hello. So what I've been doing with readings. Oh, is that not gonna work? Well, how about that? Well, what do you know about that? Nightbot's going haywire. I don't do regular like join queue stuff like how a lot of tarot streams do. I work with the Galactic Heritage cards, um, which are like pretty non-linear and archetypal. And I mean, what isn't? What divination deck isn't non-linear and archetypal when you get down to it? But in terms of like individual stuff, I generally only do that based on tips. But I might practice some of that today because I'd like to practice focusing in on individual people. Generally, I'll shuffle the deck and put out 3 cards and then 3 cards, and we'll do like a community reading. Get out of here. Good night, cute. I already have the best viewers on Twitch. They're right here in my chat. But I might today just like do some individual ones just for fun because I'd like to like get better at that. Generally, when someone comes in with an issue that they're working on, it will usually pertain to like the community reading that's going on in some way, or we'll find a way to like pertain it to that. So it's pretty cool. But welcome in. Thank you for the question. And thank you for being kind about it. A lot of people come in and just sort of demand a reading, which I'm like, dang, you know, that's how it goes. People want stuff because, they want what you're advertising. That's the community. That's right. That's right. And what I've been doing in terms of shuffling is just like laying out like a series just while I'm talking about something. I don't know. Let's just do six. Should we do six or seven? Maybe we can do seven. Maybe we have enough room on the table. Yeah, we do. So these are fun cards. I like them a lot, and I've been really enjoying doing this as a weekly practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm gonna, ooh, look out. I'll do it in a circle. Um, I used to be really nervous about it because I don't do like tarot that often. I'm not that great at shuffling cards. But the more you relax and the more familiar you get with any deck that you're using, you're gonna eventually just like, use it as a tool. And I really like incorporating this as a tool because it deals with themes that I resonate very deeply with. I really like galactic history. I'm very interested in star people, star civilizations, extraterrestrials, interdimensional consciousness, shamanism, Atlantis, Lemuria, Wales. Um, this deals with Pleiadians, Andromedans, Arcturians, the Orion system, Sirius, the Zeta Reticuli beings, or many know them as the Greys. But the Greys really refers to like a looser federation, like a looser organization of various beings working towards similar goals. I'm interested in like the SSANI, the hybridization program, which is what most people, refer to when they're experiencing abductions, so to speak. Oh, we've got an ad break coming in. Oh, tell me about it while the ads are playing. Where did I leave off? It doesn't matter. There's dolphins in here. Good morning, Monster. Monster, I think you might have been in my dream. I've been listening to Kaput again because I wanted to select a song from it for a music league that I'm in. I actually selected the song Kaput, like a songs to listen to while you're on downers. At first, I interpreted that prompt as like being sleepy and sad, but then I put in like a Destroyer song and an Animal Collective song. I was gonna put in a Young Lean song and a Shlomo song, but I decided to go a different route. I was gonna do a Young Thug song at one point too, which would have been a fine addition. I just went a different route. Well, I think Unknown Memory by Young Lean is like one of the coolest albums ever of like the last like couple decades. I just love how cohesive that album is. I was obsessed with it when it came out. That's like probably the only like release of his I'm actually like that familiar with, just because I can't stop listening. Like I just listened to that album, Unknown Memory. I think it's so good. Hi, comrade. Welcome. Good morning. Hello. You're not getting an ad? People aren't getting ads? I've got ads. But now I have kaput stuck in my head, so it's really nice. Welcome. Oh, I really enjoyed the new Planet of the Apes movie. There were parts where I almost fell asleep, but I think that's just because I saw it at like noon and I was really tired. Like the middle kind of drags a little, but it's not like a boring movie, I would say. It's pretty engaging. Just the pacing is a little slower than we're used to because most of the characters speak in like a very like breathy, stilted rhythm. You finally got a copy of Dismemberment Plans Emergency and I. What medium did you get it? That's awesome. That's a great album. That's definitely the only Dismemberment Plan album I'm familiar with, I would say. Okay. Let's pick you, and let's just do you and you, and then maybe a little bit of you. How's that? Let's pick all three of them. I don't have that much time this morning. Okay. I was inside of the sea's guts. I'm going to be on a podcast today. And on the podcast, you're allowed to be various characters, but I couldn't decide on one. And I think I overwhelmed the producer last night. So I think I'm just going to be myself because I'm a bit of a character. Comrade, I have a command for that, but my Nightbot isn't working. I don't get it. What's the deal with Nightbot? Let me just like open that up real fast. They're it's a 108 card deck. I describe it as nonlinear and archetypal, and it deals with various like extraterrestrial civilizations that humans are connected to. And it also deals with like whale and dolphin, cetacean shamanism. There are some cards that deal with Atlantis, like references to Atlantis and Lemuria and things like that. I don't know why Nightbot isn't working. Hello? And I drank wine last night, and I haven't been drinking as much as I used to, so I'm just like, I really feel it these days, which is nice. I don't need to be drinking as much as I did in my late 20s. All right, let's start with the top row. Let's do the middle card first. Lyra, Courageousness. We've had this card before. It's a present card. There's 4 suits. There's past, present, future, and parallel. Usually deals with like a quality of a civilization, like a defining characteristic. Lyra would be one of the early civilizations that broke out from the original like prism of consciousness. You've got, themes of pioneering spirit and conquering and going out and exploring. Very masculine, very penetrative, very expansive. These are all open to interpretation. But courageousness, there you go. Look at that. It's right there in the present, meaning it's, this isn't necessarily a positive or a negative. It's just like courageousness. Isn't that nice? Courageousness. I also really like to read from this book so that I can further my understanding and eventually penetrative, yes. Like you're going into an area as opposed to receiving from something. When I talk about like themes of masculine, feminine, I'm talking about like sort of grander, general, archetypal, divine, masculine, divine, feminine type things. I'm not talking about like necessarily like boys and girls, It's just sort of like the English language only stretches so far with its poetry. I'm going to read about this. It's number 15. I was inside of the sea's guts, penetrating the sea's guts. A symbol for the Lyran royal family is the lion. We like to associate that a lot with courageousness in our media and storytelling. It's more about a spiritual penis than a physical one. Exactly. Yeah. One of the most admirable qualities of Lyrans is their immense courage in the face of adversity. The human race shares this quality as part of our Lyran heritage. There is great courage in the human heart, and this card asks you to tap into that courage, which goes as far back as your Lyran forefathers. Forefathers. What's up, Chris? Good morning. Thank you for 100 bits. My commands and Nightbot and stuff aren't working right now. I'm not sure why. I do not understand. My alerts are not working. Did something like play? Nightbot's not working and my alerts aren't working. I'm not sure what's going on there. I think I'm going to have to restart the old computer. Good morning, Shelby. But I don't have a whole lot of time today, so I just sort of have to plow through, like the divine phallus, like a great cosmic phallus. I need to pierce through the morning. I need to penetrate the day. Oh, I don't even want to tell you guys what has been going on with me internally the last couple of days. Um, yeah, tapping into courage. How about that? Apply that strength in areas of your life where you need it. If you can't tap into it, act as if you can, you know? If you don't think that you can tap into your courage, just pretend like you can. They say fake it till you make it, but you don't have to fake it if you like believe in yourself. Have any of you seen Trash Humpers, which is one of my favorite films of all time? It's not even a film. It's a Harmony Korine movie. God, what is happening? In his films, he likes to poetically repeat lines over and over and over again. And in Trash Humpers, one of the repeated lines is, they go back and forth. They say, make it, don't fake it, or fake it, don't make it. And it's really like hypnotic and interesting and inspiring in some weird ways. Talking about your sex life? Heyo, heyo. I have 3 beverages on this table. Sometimes you can be courageous just by refusing to think about the fear. Absolutely, Shelby. Gosh, that's a nice one to like think about. Or not think about. You know what I mean? Triple bevs, let's go. In doing so, yeah, you'll reawaken to give you the strength that you need. Let me read some of the commentary because I skip over the commentary a lot. Do you guys like my morning vocal fry? This is about as deep as my voice ever gets. You've got me like right at like early morning coffee vocal fry time. Let's focus on me instead of doing the reading. How about that? This accesses energy from a more mature era of Lyran civilization that's somewhat equal to the human evolutionary timeline on Earth now in the present day. But mature doesn't necessarily mean evolved, it points out. The Lyrans in this time stream still had their challenges much like we do now on Earth. The theme of this card is particularly poignant because it is a quality that humans inherited from Lyrans, courage. In addition to what is said in the card text, it is important to learn to differentiate between courage and foolhardiness. How about that? You ever run straight into a situation? What is that? Fools Rush In? That Elvis song? A wise man say, only fools have 3 beverages, but I can't help falling in love with you. Ah, Elvis. Elvis breastfeed. Courage doesn't mean pushing against all obstacles to create what you want. True courage isn't ego-based. How's that? Often the biggest act of courage is to let go. Gosh. Well, this card may be emphasizing your inner strength. It could also be asking you to learn what real courage is and to live from there. It often takes courage to shift the prevailing belief systems of a person and the habitual patterns of the society. Y'all ever go against the grain? Y'all ever think about how much you might be going against the grain and how okay that is and how perhaps cosmically expected that is of you? You know how interesting it is to like be iconoclastic naturally, and all of us are in our own ways? Good morning, Val. 3 bev minimum. Water, coffee, and wild card. Yes, I have water, coffee, and this is like a sort of blended. It's like a green slop that's like got vegetables and fruits in it. So I gotta be nourished if I'm gonna be on your show later. It's so easy to hate. It takes guts to be gentle and kind. It takes guts to be peaceful and to let go. Yeah. I think in our paradigm, there's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves to like, oh, what's valued more is to push uphill, to fight for what we believe in, to etc. And yes, I mean, yeah, that has like 1,200 different meanings. But I think that if it feels like you're going uphill your entire life, there's another way that could be explored. And it isn't always as binary as like, dragging the dead deer up the hill and then just letting go of the dead deer. It could just be like maybe you don't need to drag it up the hill, or maybe you could see the hill, like maybe you're going downhill. Maybe you get behind the deer and push, and that's a little easier on your back. I don't know. There's like so many ways that you can metaphorically drag that dead deer up that hill. I was just listening to Grouper the other day. That's why I'm saying this. Oh, I haven't listened to Grouper in a long time. Good morning, everyone. Let's keep waking up. All right, courageousness. That's a great one to start off with. Courageousness. Let's face the day with courageousness. I'm facing the day with courageousness because I haven't showered yet. I haven't put on any makeup. I'm not even, trying to look or sound cute for you people. Let's flip this one. Woo! Ultimate Evolution, 100 Zeta Reticuli Future. Cool. Right off the bat. Courageousness to evolve. Yeah, didn't this have something to do with that? Mature doesn't mean evolved, however. God, one of the big themes of the movie I watched yesterday, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, was all about evolution and this like obsession with trying to be better and be more advanced and gain an advantage so that you could be king and you could domination. Something that comes up a lot in religious texts, excuse me, it comes up a lot too. Like humans were given dominion over Earth. That doesn't mean they were meant to rule it. Like dominion, like the translation literally is supposed to be caretakers. We're supposed to be caretakers of the Earth, not like assert dominance over it. Dominion does not necessarily mean dominate, but it was translated and distorted over centuries to be like, hey, like this is our house. We get to do what we want with the wallpaper. We can light the sofa on fire it's our fucking house. For some reason that became a prevailing attitude, and it really was intended to be caretakers. Humans are not a virus. I really want to stress that just really quickly. Humans are not a disease. Humans are not a virus. We're caretakers. We're stewards. It's just that our priorities got a little scrambly. All right, I'm getting a little intense here. Let's back off a little bit. How are you doing, Skull? You guys see this, Skull? You see this? Look at this. Do the apes turn into humans? They're stewards, not rulers. Yeah. This humanity's a virus doom machine. I agree. I fight against that so much. I try to like let people just like have their own opinions and like sort it out for themselves, but I'm just like, you can't go around saying that unless you want to actively like end it all. Just like what is your agenda with pushing that belief? Like why? It's so so many words are coming to mind right now, and I don't want to say any of them out loud. My hair looks great, thank you. Jeez. Yeah, we are the Earth. That's beautiful, Sparkles Sprout. I love that. Monster, yeah. Here's that big amethyst. Here's one. Witches, I would recommend, removing as many of the loose spikes from your raw amethyst as possible before doing your ritualistic work, if you know what I mean. All right, let's move on. Reading 100 Ultimate Evolution. I was thinking about that last night in terms of... No, let's not say that out loud. Let's not say that out loud. Not this early in the morning. This card represents the birth of a new species. How about that? Hey, Stephanie14256. Wait, do I know you? Are you Steph? From 1,000 years ago? Or are you a different Stephanie? Well, anyway, it's good to see you. Welcome in. I would tell you what these Galactic Heritage cards are, but for some reason my Nightbot isn't working. Let me just copy-paste it. I'll just have it in my clipboard so I can copy-paste it. Are you the bass player of my middle school band, Stephanie? Who is now a gay icon? She like makes pop EDM. She's like a lesbian icon in San Francisco. No? Okay, well, you're still welcome. That's fine. Good thing I stopped myself before talking about divine penetration with crystals. Welcome in. It's 9:30 in the morning. It's 9:30 in the morning? Oh, wait, good. That means it's only been 28 minutes. Okay. I thought I started at 8. Okay. One of the reasons for the fearful Zeta encounters humans had it. No, that's the wrong card. We're not focusing on that right now. That's a good card, though, too. We're focusing on ultimate evolution, the future. Zeta Reticuli future. The past, present, future parallel suits refer to like defining a characteristic. So, for instance, the Zetas, there's a lot of tropes of survivalism, advancement of technology, foregoing nature, forsaking nature. Thank you for the follow. Forsaking nature in like and preferring to add technology to the body to like hybridize like the natural and the inorganic and stuff so that they could survive a planet that they polluted themselves with their advancement of technology. um, the Zetas represent a possible future of us. They're not necessarily extraterrestrials. It's more of like a parallel human timeline. The Greys, that's a big common misconception. And it's kind of a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. But also, the Zetas, like it's kind of a mix. Like there are some that are parallel us, and there are some that are literally extraterrestrial. So it's kind of like it's not really my place to say. Good morning, Feed Zach. I also just woke up. Is that Shelby's cousin Zach entering the chat? I tell you what. But anyway, big themes with them was survival and desperation and um, attempts to return to emotion. So this is set in the suit the future, ultimate evolution. So this means that they've come to terms with that. They're evolving through all their perceived lack and all their perceived shortcomings and so forth. Oh, the trash finally came. It was a holiday weekend, so the trash was a day later than it usually is. This card represents the birth of a new species. The Zetas transformed themselves from a species of fear and limitation, sound familiar, to one of higher consciousness, compassion, and love. It was not an easy road, but an immensely fulfilling one. Because of this, they can now assist countless other species in their evolution. They can become teachers. Isn't that nice? This card represents your personal evolution, our personal evolution. We have the ability to make you have the capability to make dramatic changes in who you are by walking through the fire, referring to confronting rather than avoiding your fears. That's a big one for us. Courageousness, it's all coming together. Okay, let's have some courageousness with our singing voice this morning. Asking for help, trusting the process. Your galactic family is with you. You are not alone. I love that song Come Down to Us by Burial, because it's not only is it a trans anthem, but it also deals with like angels and aliens and stuff. Come down to us. And like, are we alone? And no, oh my God, there's a beautiful sample where, and I don't remember what this specific sample is from, but you hear this woman say, "You are not alone," and then like the music swells, and it's just like, oh, and I had to pull over on the freeway once because I started crying because I'm a queer little baby. They call you the cruising cousin. Wow, that's cute. This is amazing. Ultimate evolution. Courageousness can take us to ultimate evolution. And this doesn't necessarily need to refer to like a great. Let me change the. You don't need to look at my face. This doesn't necessarily need to mean like our final destination or a huge, grandiose career path or something. It can just be ultimately evolving. We're always expanding. We're always changing. It is one of the constants of our existence to always expand and always change, whether we like it or not. Thank you, Stephanie. That's very sweet. No one else in the chat seems to like it. I'm just joking. I'm fishing for compliments. But if we can utilize courageousness in the present, ultimately we can evolve in the future. It's a very simple path. It doesn't need to be so complex or filled with, perilousness or fear or whatever. Oh, I like this reading already. Let's read this third one on the top. What's this? Self-discipline. Vega present. Vegans were very mystical, very interested in the spiritual. That was a characteristic of them. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. Yeah, I found that interesting too, comrade. Self-discipline. How can we make sure that our courageousness leads us to ultimate evolution? Well, I think one tool that we have in our little Tim the Tool Time rucksack is self-discipline. Self-discipline. Look at how beautiful that is. That's what I look like when I'm dancing in the club. I love Vega. I love Vega as a character in Street Fighter. I love Vega as a star system and as a civilization to learn from. I tend to align with the like stereotypically mystical civilizations. What's up, Nick? Oh my god. And happy birthday, belated birthday to Sci-Fi Goth. I got their message. It was, or, we messaged it on Instagram real quick. You shall list my excellent qualities one by one. Shelby, you're like that owl in the Tootsie Roll Pop commercials. A Juan, a Tahoo. Thank you for flattering me, everyone. Let's read about self-discipline. I need to exercise some self-discipline when I'm fishing for compliments, I'll tell you that. Jesus. 24. Let's go. 24. All right, here comes my face. The profound nature of vegan mysticism came from their intense self-discipline. Do you feel guilty yet for not being self-disciplined? I have a lot of issues with discipline, the word discipline. I like to be very anti-authoritarian and be like, no, I'm not going to do it. The first time I really respected discipline, I would say, I think I was born into it, where I was a very intense like toddler before I spoke. And I'm learning more and more about that as I learn about consciousness and lives and things like that. But the first time I think I really appreciated discipline was when I started taking Taekwondo in middle school. And I had mentors and teachers physically training me and showing me the path of if you stretch every day, you can kick above your head. If you do push-ups every day, you'll be able to lift things easier. If you practice your forms, you will be able to pass this and move on to the next level. And you're always evolving and you're always growing, but you just have to keep at it. And I was taking drum lessons around the same time. Similar thing there. You just, you can be very, very skilled at these things if you just keep at it and practice with it. And there's a lot of inside of me, at least, that wants to fight against that and be like, no, I'm inherently talented. That sounds cool. Intense doesn't sound like me. Ha, couldn't be me. It's never once been me. 1 is the face, 2 is the hair, and 3 is the cool voice. Thank you. Voice. Fish lip line. Fishipline. Discipline fishipline. There it is. I was like, fish lip line? Excuse me? You're saying my lips are very fish today? In the trans community, that's a high compliment, I guess. What is this, the 90s? Good morning, Steph. It's very good to see you. A tea-sipping emote would be sick. I need more emotes. I need more animated emotes because I have 8 spots open and I don't know what to do with them. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, discipline. Self-discipline, number 24. I need to have the self-discipline to keep reading from the book and keep on track. But yeah, as a preteen, being like, oh my god, there's all this value in self-discipline, and isn't that cool? And I learned to respect it instead of constantly rebel against it, because you can use it as a tool just like anything else so that it works for you. And it was working for me very strongly at that period of my life. It'd be cool to be a disciple. That's interesting. Disciple discipline. As an example, you see this now in martial arts. There you go. Or meditation practices. That was also a place where I was I would habitually meditate. I love that about several martial arts practices. It teaches American kids. We don't have access to a whole lot of, because there's not really I don't want to get into a whole thing about there's no such thing as American culture, because it's always sucking the lifeblood out of other things. But growing up, I think it's nice to find some way to sit and be still and be okay with the racing thoughts, the constantly shifting focus. forgiving ourselves for our attention deficit disorders, as opposed to being like, I can't meditate because I can't focus. Like, whoa. Like let the river be rapid, you know? The river's gonna keep moving. It doesn't need to be still. It'd be a puddle if it was still, you know? Just let it flow. It's okay. Spiritual skills do not develop without the self-discipline and devoted practice. Or maybe they do, they just like, you know, you don't really start taking them seriously until you're in your 80s or 90s. Karmically, many humans now either resist discipline or crave it because of their ancient experiences. Sound familiar? What is your pattern? Know that self-discipline is a vital part of spiritual growth, but too much of it creates rigidity. Makes sense. Like, I need to wake up at this time. I need to meditate, or I'm going to have a shit day if I don't meditate at this time every single day. I'm going to be a terrible spouse if I don't meditate at this time every single day. Like, why? What? Jesus. What a strange spell to cast on oneself. Am I doing reading for everyone? Yeah, technically. Yeah. It's sort of like where the energies are at today. Yeah. Once this is over, I could focus on someone specifically with 2 new cards. I'd actually like to try to fit that in at the end if we could do that. Where I just we sort of focus on these like communally, and then if someone wants to bravely step forward, I will draw 2 cards and we can like talk about something that they're going through. Like if anyone has something that they want to try to like work through or figure out or whatever. Can I do you last? Sure, sure. There was someone else in here who said something about something. Yeah, generally we do like community readings in here. Where's the... I really wish Nightbot was working, but I guess I'm on my own. Because a lot of people come in here without like any prior knowledge of who I am or what it is that I do. And they'll just do !join. And if you do that, this pops up. Do the cards give advice? They can. Is it like tarot cards? They can be. I think a big thing about the modalities of divination decks like tarot or runes or astrology or what have you, it's just like, I'm never going to sit here and purport to like predict your future. I don't think, I think that your future is yours. It's up to you. What I can offer is like some guided perspective on what may be energetically happening this morning with all of us together. Or maybe the words resonate with you specifically in certain ways. And you can like go throughout the day. Okay, bye, Sparkle. I have to end at 11, so we may not see each other, but thank you for being here on this glorious morn. Like if someone asks me for advice, I can offer it to them. What I basically do with these community readings is I'll just shuffle the deck and I'll do like 6 cards and I'll just like go through the themes of each card and then I'll talk about how they relate to each other, like why they may have synchronistically like been pulled at the same time. And these first 3 make a lot of sense. I'll draft some sort of narrative that way that might be helpful to people. It is important to find the middle ground and use discipline as a tool to further your growth without it becoming a hindrance. And then the commentary talks about Spock from Star Trek. Because the Vulcans were known for their intense self-discipline to control emotion. Because the Vegans had a similar commitment to not only self-discipline in order to work with emotion, but also to evolve spiritually, manifest what they needed in their world and organize their society. But this trait can be both positive and negative. In a positive sense, it can lead you to the heights of spiritual advancement and enlightenment, but in the negative sense, it can lead to self-sacrifice and controlling others, you know? Like imagine, you know, well, I'm looking for like an ocracy word. What's an ocracy word that is like a spiritually or a religiously ruled civilization? Like a churchocracy. Like what is that? What is the word for that? Or an archy. Like a priestarchy. What is an archy word? Theocracy. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that would be it. I guess that would be it. Yeah, where it's like a rigid like you'll all benefit spiritually from our rule, but you have to follow the letter of our law. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can just find out, fuck around and find out, basically. You can do whatever you want, but that's really one of the like laws of the universe is fuck around and find out. That's like one of the most beautiful karmic like take action, see where it leads you. Like follow your excitement, see what happens. That's kind of all we can do in this ever unfolding creative process that we're all a part of. Fuck around and find out. Not necessarily like threatening, like fuck around and find out. Like fuck around and find out. Fuck each other and find out. Fuck yourself, find out. I don't know what's going on with me today. Do you need more self-discipline? Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. We don't need to read all the commentary on there. Yeah, I think all of this is like very, very, very obvious, like very inherent. Yeah, I think most of us are looking for some sort of like what we have in our eyes, our mind as an ultimate evolution. And to be honest about it, it's gonna take some courageousness and self-discipline. That makes a lot of sense. So I feel like all of us are facing something, right now I feel really comfortable. I am taking on more and more. I can only really speak for myself because I don't want to like, be like, this is what's happening in your life. Like, you can share in the chat if it is what's happening in your life. But speaking for myself, I'm taking on more and more like challenges and work stuff and really enjoying each of it. Like every single day I've been filling up the days more and more with like genuine passion for the projects that I'm working on, and it's leading to more positive outcomes. And my self-discipline, my shift with this towards ultimately evolving is the courageousness to say yes to things, the self-discipline to follow through with my like promises and my commitments. Like instead of just like bowing out of everything, like, oh, maybe I'll do that next week, or maybe I'll come over like next year, or oh, like I'll work on that song tomorrow or something. It's like, oh, what if I worked on it today? I have time. What if I worked on it today? And then something will happen and it's like, oh my God, I'm so glad I worked on that today. Because that led to this and this led to that. And my God, before I know it, I'm ultimately evolving. And that's very cool. So yeah, self-discipline and courageousness, both in the present suit. This is very nice. These are very positive. From where I'm sitting, this feels like a very, very positive read into steps moving forward. I think we can apply this to ultimately, you could apply this creatively to anything that you're going through right now. If you're feeling like beleaguered by something. All right, let's go with these. Let's do 2 of these at the same time. Actually, let's do 1 at a time. We have some time. It's okay. Oh, beautiful. Power of Sound. Power of Sound, a past Vega card. Never drawn this card before. I've been working a lot with the Power of Sound. But let's see how this applies to all of us in like a more universal sense. Power of sound. That's so cool. Sound is great. Everything's vibrations. Our scientists are finally catching up to that. Everything is vibrations. Everything's little jigglies. Everybody jiggles. Settle down. All right, 20. Sound represents the physicalization of spiritual energy into a frequency that can be accessed in our reality. Yes. You started playing the violin again recently after 15 years? Let's go. That's awesome. Wow. Record something and send it to me. Let's start a band. That's really beautiful. Yeah, underneath this table are a bunch of tuning forks. And I just got a cool electronic device yesterday in the mail that I'm going to be using for some projects. I'm a big fan of sound as a modality. I mean, it really is all that there is. I was asked in um, Santa Cruz by a theater graduate student who was like, "You're really good at acting. Why don't you? Why are you learning about like sound?" I'm like, "Because sound is everything." And he was like, "Oh, that makes sense." um, of course, if I would have pursued acting, I would be sipping wine with Faye Dunaway and Jack Nicholson right now. So, instead, y'all got me spouting about cards and crystals, which I really honestly wouldn't trade for anything in the world. This is truly like where I need to be right now. Hey, Shake, good morning. Power of sound. The ancient Vegans were masters of sound and used it for everything from healing to warfare. The practice of chant or mantra has its origins in Vegan mysticism and has spread to many planets, including Earth. If you've received this card, then you have past experience using sound to alter consciousness. Go figure. Either for positive or negative purposes. Now, when I read things like that it's like, hey, if you've flipped this card, you have a past life. It's like, I even the channeler who wrote this, I think at this point would understand that every life is happening in the present. All past lives are happening in the present. We can think about it linearly if we choose to, for like a temporary narrative that suits us in the moment. But like, oh, I had a life as Cleopatra. You have a life as like Cleopatra is alive now. Like the past is the present, the future is the present, and we're all connected. So that's why you get so many people being like, "Oh, I have a past life as Cleopatra." It's like, well, how can 70 different people have past lives as Cleopatra? Well, of course, because we're all well. Whoever was here on Tuesday, we really got into this. Was just we're all of the same disco ball. There was a student film at our school that was so beautifully written and acted and directed, but the sound was bad, so we all booed it. Yes, that happened a lot. When I would go to the student film festivals, it would be like gorgeous. It would look like an actual production, and the sound would be bad, and it would take everyone out of it immediately. It just ruined the production. Like, it does not matter how good. Like, you could have a terribly looking film, and if the sound's good, it's I would argue that the sound is like what makes it feel like an actual piece of cinema. Like, you could have the shakiest, crappiest like video for 10 minutes, and if the sound feels like immersive, the audience is going to have an experience, you know. Just complete room tone change every cut. Yeah. 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 God, that's so real. That was a like God, all quarter you'd like hear from some film student like, "Oh, I'm working on this huge passion project. Oh my God, it's going to be my magnum opus. Oh my God." And it's about such like deep overarching themes. Oh, I'm so excited for everyone to come to the lecture hall and see it. And you all pile in at the end of the quarter and you're so excited and you watch it and yeah, the room tone just changes every cut. And it just yanks you right out of the experience. And it's like, when you guys were in the editing room, did this not ever cross anyone's mind? It will now. Thank you so much, Shake and Bakey, gifting a tier 1 sub to Comrag Notice Me. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Whew. Anyway, power of sound. This positive skill or negative karmic control pattern is returning. Explore the power of sound as a next step in your spiritual evolution. I think about this a lot. I really like that it offers a positive and a negative spin on these things. That's the big thing to remember about Vega. It's not like, oh, we're so enlightened. Oh, we're so much holier than thou. It's also like, oh, we're so much holier than thou. There's judgment there. I think it's a lot of the issues that people nowadays have it's a lot of the issues people have with the New Age movement. Under late capitalism. Like, oh, you're just trying to sell books. Oh, you're just trying to start a cult. Oh, like really suspicious of people who are publicly identifying as spiritual people. I think that's something that I have encountered a lot whenever I purport to be mystical in ways, and that's fine. And the more resistance I I experience with that, the more I get to learn about myself and my own issues. And like, why are my beliefs like making me so defensive about this? I have a lot of vegan stuff going on. Um, I think about this when I think about our sound baths. We have one coming up tomorrow, actually, tomorrow night. Um, when you facilitate a sound bath, are you trying to control the energy of the room? Are you trying to like manipulate people? Sometimes people want to be manipulated. They come to a sound bath so that they can like get all flushed out and stuff. So just the balance there of let's make it a little more universal. Like if you're writing a song for someone, or the tone of voice with which you speak, even even as universal as that, everyone is a musical composer who speaks. And even if you don't speak, I would argue you're still composing music just by existing because you are a vibration. So you're inherently a sound in the universe. Everything sings whether it opens its mouth or not. Oh, put that on a fucking bumper sticker and pay me. See what I did there? That's very vegan. Even vegans. See, we even have it with vegans and the superiority complex of people who choose a vegan lifestyle. All right, let's move on. I think we've like done that into the ground. Let's do this third one. Oh, conservative attachments. Oh, that's an earth present quality. Look at that, holding on to the teddy bear. Fearful of change. This can be a positive, negative in many ways too. There are things that we're familiar with that we like, that we want to hold on to. Hey, Zequid Sauce. But how tightly are we clinging to that teddy bear? Is it serving us to clutch that teddy bear? Hate changes. Yeah, they can be very scary. They are a constant, though. They're the one thing you can expect. So the more fluid we can discipline ourselves to be in the face of what might be a scary change, I think the more comfortable we're going to be as we ultimately evolve. But that takes courage, doesn't it? Power of sound. How does the power of sound? The physicalization of spiritual energy into a frequency that can be accessed in our reality. So I'm going to also talk a little bit about how these are all great and heady concepts, but how can they be used practically? How can we take all this like hoity-toity abstract spiritual teaching and crystallize it into our physical reality? That's another thing I hear a lot. Like, hey, Swan, like this is all well and good, but like I've got bills to pay, or some issue that is very real world. That's the power of sound. Metaphorically, I think that's what that represents. Because the physical is the spiritual. But that's a lot of words to try to digest at once. Be a part of this world, you have to be attached to something. It helps me at least. Sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people assign negative connotation to both the word conservative and the word attachment. And I think that while, yes, it's easy to do that, it's also just as easy to assign positive connotations to both. You're trying to care for something, you're trying to maintain something. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier with the stewardship of the earth. If we had conservative attachments to taking care of the earth, how positive would that be? But we're also wrestling a lot right now with conservative attachments to patterns that are destructive. And that's, I think, what would behoove us to take a look at. Yeah, Play Loud sounds outside the CEO of the company that you owe bills to. Yeah. I know, I think about the power of sound a lot when during the marches in 2020 when the police were using those sound cannons. I felt like that made me so angry because I felt like this like huge betrayal of like vibration. I'm like, how dare you distort the like the divine beauty that is sound in such a violent way? Like, how dare you? I was so offended by that, and I still am. You can hear it in my voice. All right. Complete surrender. Wow. Wow. I love this. I love this. Allowing. Complete surrender. The change is going to come. The change is already here. Do we resist it until we, feel like our lives suck? How long? How long? I don't know. Complete surrender. That's a beautiful card. It's a beautiful final card for this reading right here. Let's read that. Complete surrender. Oh, wait. I should read conservative attachments as well. Conservative attachments. When it is a time of transformation, it is natural to fear change. Everyone, alphas. There is an illusionary feeling of safety in the familiar, even if the familiar is dysfunctional and no longer serves you. Take a look at your life now. What are you clinging to that is old and familiar? It is time for an inventory. Can someone tell me how to pronounce that word? Ever since I was a kid and I would play video games, I think I would say inventory. I used to say inventory as a kid, but it's inventory, right? Can someone... Inventory? Inventory. Take an inventory. It is time for an inventory. When you clean out the old, you make space for the new. When you clean out the old pronunciation of inventory, you make space for the new pronunciation of inventory. The karmic pattern of fearing change is one that must be healed at this time. When you resist change, it is often forced on you. You can circumvent this by taking small steps toward change, which eventually lead to great strides. Start now. That all makes sense. I think that's a big thing that a lot of us don't like hearing. It's like the inevitability of change, and it can be dealt with very easily and fluidly, and baby steps are okay. It's okay to take small steps. It's okay to take it 1 millisecond at a time. There's no rush, because those milliseconds will turn to seconds, minutes, hours, days. Inventory. Very theatrical. Inventory. Mischievous. Why do people say mischievous? There's only one. Isn't it mischievous? It's more fun to say mischievous. What else? There's an H in aesthetic, but people say aesthetic all the time. Never got that. A lot of my heroes say aesthetic, and I'm like, what are you... That's here talking about conservative attachments. Why would I let the pronunciation of a word change the way that I feel about another human being? Something as fluid as the English language, something as confusing as the English language. It's like hearing someone say library, It's like you'll be in a lecture hall watching a hero of yours speak, and then they say a word and you're just like, oh. And then you move on. Surrender to it completely. What are you going to do? What are you going to do in that moment? Lose all respect for someone you love? Have some courage. Have some courage in the moment. The power of sound can be very powerful, but have some courage and self-discipline there. Ultimately, you will evolve if you completely surrender beyond your conservative attachments of how someone may or may not pronounce a word, And even we're using a silly example as pronouncing a word, but I think this happens a lot with misinterpretations, especially as consciousness fragments more and more and more throughout polarization. We're finally, I feel like we're on the backswing now, and we're returning. We've started the long journey back towards unity. So whoopee for us. We didn't destroy ourselves with nuclear weaponry. But okay, that was a bit of a tangent. But still, I see it a lot with friend groups. I see it a lot with online communities and stuff. Someone will misinterpret one thing or hang on to one thing for life. It's like, that's it. It's over. I never want to speak to this person ever again. And that's fine. That's your prerogative. But like, also, I don't know, maybe it's the Libra in me that likes to just like mend burnt bridges. But it's like, what do you get? You know, you're really going to be mad at someone your entire life because you misinterpreted each other? Yeah, I don't know. I just, for me and the themes that I've chosen to explore in my life, I don't understand that. And I think that's also why I'm friends with a lot of people like that who like to hold grudges, because it teaches me something. Because I really don't understand, and we can learn from each other. But I can't force them to mend their burnt bridges with their friends. I can't force my friends who don't talk to me anymore. Like, I, the closure has to happen within yourself. We don't have there's alchemy to that, I guess. But all of this can apply to that in so many different ways. Let's read about complete surrender. Yeah, it just means they read a lot. Yeah. Yeah. That was how it was in school. And then the older you get, the more people, because it's like, you went this far? You've made it to 32 years? You know? And you still don't know how to say blah, blah, blah? It's like, no, I haven't had to use it outside of reading books. Not yet. Or like video games. Okay, complete surrender. For eons, the ancient Lyrans applied the masculine principle of pushing or forcing reality to conform to their desires. In order to transform, they eventually had to surrender, to let go of the need for control and trust the universe to be as it needs to be in every moment. This was a hard lesson for the Lyrans, as it is for you. You, like most humans, have a karmic pattern of trying to control reality. Guilty as charged, Your Honor! It is time now to change that pattern. It is time now to change that pattern. Practice. My boobs hurt. Practice trusting and surrendering to the universe on a daily basis, even with small things. As you do this, you will begin to heal this ancient karmic pattern. You have a speak problem? That's okay. I had a speak problem when I was a kid, and I was put into an after-school class afterwards. I couldn't pronounce my L's or my R's. You guys know Aaron on Deal or No Deal Island? I spoke like that until I was like 5.5 years old. And I didn't speak until I was 3, mind you. So it was 2 straight years of just being like Dwayne the Walk Johnson. You know, that's how I spoke for like a handful of years. And then I was put into a class after school. And I got a beanie baby for passing the class. And then that's why I speak with so much diction. I speak with so much diction in my mouth. People thought, after that, people thought I was European. Because they're like, why do you talk like that? And I'm like, because I was put in a fucking class. I have some friends who are my age who still speak like that, and they lead perfectly normal lives. Oh yeah, I used to stutter a lot too. You did a after school thing for your stuttering? I relate a lot to stuttering. I like it. Deep breaths, children. Yeah. Complete surrender, baby. Let me read. I'm just skimming through the commentary to see if there's anything like fun or useful in here. They taught me Hollywood English. That's right. I speak with a pan-Atlantic accent now. It's very natural for me. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Surrendering to. So we fight against this a lot because a lot of our themes are free will versus destiny. And in my view, they're the same thing. So there's a lot of value that can be had in letting go. Letting go of control. Yes, make decisions. Exercise your agency. That's the point. That's the creative, that's the paintbrush with which we get to create, is our agency and our free will. I believe that it's inherent to destiny. I believe that if I'm at a crossroads and I'm really angry and frustrated about a fork in the road or some source of indecision, letting go and letting synchronicity kind of like help guide me. Oh God, that's been such a huge medicine for me in recent years. Because like as a Libra, as a gender fluid person growing up, like all of this stuff, like I didn't know what the right path was to take. I knew what was expected of me, and I knew what I should do to plan for the future and get good options. And you got to. It's like no, 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 no. Like following my heart, following my instinct. That was I. If I just listened to my internal compass, things. It was like that's my path. But can we trust ourselves to follow our internal compass without judgment, like judging ourselves all the time? In hindsight, it was mostly self-consciousness over my accent, and now I'm pissed that I don't have it anymore. For sure. You're pissed that you don't have the stutter? People think you sound like you're from New York. New York City! The football game! In New York City. No, the accent. Which accent? I've never noticed an accent on you or any of your voice recordings that I have saved on my computer that I listen to in the wee hours of the morning. I've never noticed that at all. When did you become a Brooklynite? Hey, I'm walking here. You had a cool Russian accent. Now you speak perfect German. Ah, for sure. Okay, thank you. That makes more sense. Mystic Theurge? That's dope. Did you choose that name? Thank you, Monster. Thank you so much for gifting a sub. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Everyone's been very generous today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate this. Oh. Yeah. There's indeed higher plans at work. It is impossible to ever control events. Learn to let go and ride the wave of the universe to heal the obsessive need to control. This is an extremely important card for Earth at this time because most humans as individuals and the species as a whole are addicted to the need to control and don't realize that this only creates suffering. Yeah. Yeah. My God, that's something. That was something that I took into a lot of the early readings of this. Was like, oh, I need it to go a certain way. I need this to like provide advice for people. I need this to like adhere to the template of what tarot readings on Twitch are. It goes away when you smoke weed, for sure. Oh, we have an ad break. Weed, what can't it do? I haven't been smoking much weed. I started off this stream talking about how I've been drinking less. I've also been smoking significantly less. I've only smoked like once in the last like 3 months, and it was at a wedding with like a friend, and it was very like it was like homegrown, and it was very chill. We smoked in a fire truck and looked at the stars and spoke lovingly about our friendship. It rocked. She was like one of my best friends in middle school who I I was struggling to come to terms with like identity and romance and gender and friendship. And it was just really healing to like hang out with her at this wedding, like, 15 years later or like, 16, 17 years later, and just be like two adults who were like just chill. It was very, very healing. It was very nice. Oh, Stephanie's in an ad. We gotta wait for Steph, folks. We'll give Steph a little personalized reading. Stephanie. I get invited to a lot of weddings. I do. This is the same wedding, I think, that, whatever Jeezy's always talking about. I think it's the same wedding. Well, I go to like a few a year at this point because I'm in my early 30s, and a lot of my friends, their life paths took them to like very committed monogamous relationships. A lot of like, I've actually had to miss a couple of weddings, which some of those I'm really sad about. I had to miss um, a friend in San Francisco just because I had to work, and it was really hard to like drive up there. I wish I went to that though, because he's chill and his husband's chill, and I chickened out and ended up going to a bunch of straight weddings in Southern California. For shame. No. And now they're all having babies. I keep getting invited to baby showers, and I'm not attending any of them because I'm very uncomfortable. Because I don't know any of their friends anymore, and I don't know what I would do at a baby shower. I want to support them, but in all honesty, I just feel very uncomfortable by that, so I just don't go. Yeah, welcome back. All right. Does everyone feel fulfilled by this? Does this serve everybody? Is this in service to anybody? I really like this reading. It's a very cool reading. Very cool. Do we want to do an individual one for Stephanie? My bro is having a baby. Got to go to a shower next month. Yeah, if my bro was having a baby, I would go to that shower. I have a lot of like bros from high school who are having babies, and I haven't met like any of their babies. Some of them were born during COVID, and it was like unwise to meet the baby, but now they're like toddlers, and I just am not, I don't like live in the same cities as them anymore. And I feel like I'll meet their kids someday. I just, I don't know, children frighten me. Not that much, but I just, it's so funny. I don't know. I think the idea of seeing friends like starting families, like I think that's something I just need to process more. Because I've got conservative attachments about stuff like that, I guess. But if I'm courageous, I can ultimately evolve. If we're family, like, I'll meet the children, but I haven't met any of like my friends' kids. They're all babies. And we live so far away from each other now. Something on the docket, though. You sent him the Animal Collective Baby Day song. This song is 3 times longer than it has to be. Yeah, I mean, it's just one line over and over again. It's a great song. She's gonna have a baby. Do 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 do. Well, just for fun, let's keep all these cards out, and then we'll do a specific one for Stephanie. You're still here? Great. Let's focus on Stephanie. Stephanie, is there something going on in your life? Is there something you want to focus on? Is there something you'd like to gain clarity or insight on? I'd like you to think about that as I'm pulling these next 2 cards from the deck. Here, I'm actually gonna... Oh, crumbs. We dropped it. We dropped the first 3 cards. Excuse me. What a cool reading. I'll leave Ultimate Evolution up because that's a nice goal to strive for. What up, Cadence? So, Stephanie, are you thinking about something that's going on with you? Or maybe we'll just find out what's going on with you just by pulling the 2 cards. So, the first one that we pull is maybe going to be an addressing of a present, and the next one that we pull is going to be something to come, or some way to get a handle on what it is. Here are 2 cards. Your parents' friendship with each other. Okay, yeah. Okay. And you can share as much or as little as you feel comfortable doing. All right. Orion, deep polarity. Well, that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with your parents specifically, but speaking from just my own life experience, that can be a big thing with parents, friendships. Deep polarity. A big theme of the Orion past is deep polarity, differences in viewpoints, differences in perspectives, um, especially in the past, a seeming inability to be able to see eye to eye, a seeming, no matter what is done or said, it could be taken the wrong way, or it could be misconstrued or purposefully misinterpreted. Yeah, deep polarity. That makes sense with a lot of the themes that you've brought to the table here. My cousin got married on my B-Day weekend. It was the first large family gathering I went to as an out trans woman, and that was wild. Mostly good experience. Nice. That's wonderful. One is hurting inside, and the other one doesn't know about it. For sure. Deep polarity. Let me read from this. Orion is, when we think about themes of like conflict and war, that's the Orion drama playing out. We see a lot in Dune, Mad Max, Orange. I love that. Star Wars, like empires versus rebellions, oppressors versus victims, and so on and so forth. Deep polarity. This is represented by the arrow pointing up and the arrow pointing down in the chest, as you can see right where the heart would be. And then that's accented by these other triangles like crystallizing out of the foot and the head. Deep polarity. Orange. Let me read. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. In ancient times, the Orion civilization played out the deepest of polarity during a very dark time in their history. Many souls from Orion eventually came to Earth to heal this polarity through incarnations as humans. A lot of us see that happening constantly, everywhere, all the time. If you have pulled this card, then an Orion lifetime of yours still has some influence on your life today. Obviously, I try to skip over those sentences in the book because to me it's obvious. It's like all of this is connected. Everything is connected. These karmic patterns are ready to be released. Examine your natural human tendency to polarize in thought and belief and ask the universe to help you heal this. Also know that this is a major issue for the entire planet at this time, and your healing affects the whole as well. That's a very important lesson to remember as well, like the individual as a metaphor for the collective. What is happening within us is what is happening outside of us, as above, so below. That's the paradox of polarity as well. There's an arrow pointing up and there's an arrow pointing down, but ultimately they're both arrows pointing. They're just experiencing difference. And if that difference can be understood and celebrated and integrated, people don't have to be homogenized. You don't have to force both arrows to point up, and you don't have to force both arrows to point down. Just the fact that they both exist, one pointing up, one pointing down, they're different. They have different perspectives. There's harmony in that, if it can be found, if it wants to be found. One is hurting inside and the other doesn't know about it. Let's see what this other card says. Ooh, another polarity-focused card. From the past of Pleiades. These are both past. So these both are very directly referencing like an issue, something that needs resolving. The Pleiades, oh my God, always trying to help, trying so hard to be so positive all the time and just completely ignoring the darkness, completely ignoring the shadow. That makes a lot of sense with what you've shared in chat. One is hurting inside and the other doesn't know about it. Almost a level of secrecy with anything negative. I don't want to look at the negative. Like that avoidance of anything negative when it is inherent. within the polarity. The up arrow can't ignore the down arrow. You can't even be an up arrow without a down arrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, there can be no good if there is no such thing as bad. Like, something like darkness needs light and light needs darkness. Otherwise, they're without definition. Imbalance and positive polarity. Just, yeah, that was a theme of the Pleiades in the past. This, oh, it's all good. Everything's good. It's all good. No bad. Like, I don't want to look at the bad. That's what this reminds me of. In certain metaphysical teachings, we call that spiritual bypass. Like, oh, it's all part of the plan. It's all good. It's okay. It's all good. Like, oh, you don't need to feel bad right now. You don't need to feel any negative emotion. You don't need to process that at all. Just sweep it under the rug. You know, you can't do that. It's going to manifest. It's going to bubble up in some way. It's probably going to manifest itself physically in some way. Let's read that card. Both in the 30s. Interesting. In the ancient Pleiadian history, one of the core lessons of the species had to do with denying the shadow side within. They only wanted to focus on the positive and habitually suppressed their dark aspects. It is important to recognize and embrace all aspects, dark and light. In your life now, try to see where you suppress the darkness inside, or perhaps where one parent might be suppressing the darkness of another or themselves, such as emotions or pain that you don't want to feel. See it, love it, and dialogue with it. Use it as part of your growth. In doing so, you will heal many old habits and patterns from lifetimes past on Earth and in the stars. Yes, it's a core lesson. They have the tendency to push away negative emotions and only acknowledge the positive. This unprocessed emotions festered on a collective level, and after millennia, that energy was released as like an actual physical sickness. You see that happening in the macro now with, global illness, etc. But let's not focus on that. We don't need to focus on that right now because we're just focusing on you. I like to remind that the micro is the macro, but sometimes I tend to get off track when I focus on that. I think this is a very clear, acknowledgement of the issues that you've presented. This offers a solution, like by providing where there is deep polarity, you can't only focus on the positive. Both have to be acknowledged in order to find balance. And heck, if we look back at the reading earlier, that takes courage and self-discipline. The ultimate evolution is like the balancing of these polarities, the balancing of well, hold on, let me read. Your mom is the one who's hurting. Okay. Yes. Yes. So perhaps the dad is only looking at the positive aspects of the relationship and refusing to see the actual negative feelings that your mom is feeling. And to just sweep that under the rug is not going to solve anything. It requires acknowledgement. Yeah. So this is something that energetically they're dealing with right now. And it's going to take courage and it's going to take discipline. Yeah, that's a very relatable thing. I know a few couples who have dealt with that throughout their lives. That hits home. Especially with a deep romantic partner like that, a deep lifelong spouse or so. Or it doesn't even have to be lifelong, but just that level of love, feeling for someone else. With that level of love comes the necessary acknowledgement of deep polarity. You're inevitably going to be different people. What should you do to help? That's a good question. What can you do? What do you have a relationship with them where they listen to you? Because I found I've tried to do that before in my own life, and I was premature. And I all I wanted to do was help bridge gaps, and I was treated as though I was an outsider. Um, Ultimately, the healing had to come from within. The healing has to come from within them. You can offer your advice lovingly. That's the best thing, really, I think, that you can do. Offering your perspective on this in a loving way without trying to control anybody. But yeah, it sounds like they're like an encouragement of that honesty between the two of them. Like, yeah, what is your intuition? What does your heart say that you, like, what would excite you to do? Yeah. Something I'm learning more and more about, like, romantic partnerships is there's a lot of social pressure to stay together, but I think that, and it's important to do so if that's someone's journey. Are people learning lessons from each other? Like, people may ask, like, oh, should we stay together? Should we break up? Do you feel as though you're finished learning lessons from each other? Or are you still teaching and learning lessons? Like, that's one way to look at that exchange of, like, a romantic relationship. Whereas, like, oh, I'm bored with this person, or I'm annoyed by this person, or this person always does this and that. And well, what about your belief systems makes you feel so annoyed by that? And it's fine to do so. It's fine to be annoyed. It's fine to be tired. But to dwell in, like, a negative because there's, like, societal pressure or something, like, this is where it gets tricky for me to reach out specifically to individuals, because I can't tell you what to do. I will not allow myself to, like, be like, here's what you should do with your parents. The best I can do is offer, like, perspective, and then you have to ultimately be the one to decide what to do. It is your choice. It is your life. It is your family. Spend time together, sure. That would be a wonderful opportunity to explore each other. Yeah, like, because I'm not your therapist. I'm not a licensed doctor, and I've never met you. But I do see these themes as universal, and I see it happening with friends and family members and so forth. So that's the perspective that I can offer. And these cards, like, are pointing directly to that from my perspective. Like, this is about as marriagey as it gets. What's the challenge that comes with a romantic partner? Two parents. Are they married? They're married, I'm assuming. What I've experienced with that dynamic is, yes, the need to balance a deep polarity. And usually the polarity is exacerbated or worsened by one member of the pair ignoring the negative and just carrying on. And often in these archetypes, it can be the masculine side, which is, to put it back into the macro, very metaphorical for the shifts happening across Earth. Waking up to the needs of the feminine energy. Waking up, the masculine being like, oh, I've been fucking up for thousands of years. That sort of thing. And that's okay. And handling that shift with grace and understanding, because they're scared. They are scared. of the shift in power. The Imagine waking up after thousands of years of thinking that you were doing something correctly and realizing, oh, the pendulum's swinging and I've been doing it wrong. And now it's someone else's turn to have the focus in the spotlight. Like, maybe I go a little easy because I try so hard to balance. Like, I don't necessarily identify with misandry because I have to be extremely balanced as, like, a cosmic minister of the universe or whatever. Because I can see in 13,000 years it'll just switch back. Hey, welcome back, Sparkle. As a Libra. Yeah, exactly, Shake. Yeah. And there doesn't need, I'm not, like, I'm not, I don't, that's the thing about advice. It's like, I can't tell you what to do. I can't be like, you have to exercise patience. You have to, because that's controlling. It's like, here's what's happening. Here's what's happening in the micro with your parents' relationship, and the macro with the species, and our relationship to the planet, our relationship with ourselves and each other. Your dad is scared of everything and never tries to fix things. That makes sense. So he's going to have to come up with some courage if he wants to evolve. Is he aware? Is he aware? So he's not aware at all of the way that your mom feels? And he's scared of everything. So he's aware. And I'm assuming he wants things to be harmonious. Yeah. Hmm. He's going to need some courage. And it won't be so hard. It's not that hard to, like, find courage. It is sometimes the hardest thing in the world to be brave enough to understand why change is happening and fluidly accept it. He doesn't know about it at all. Um, Again, I'm not a marriage counselor, but has she expressed any of this? Or has it just been with you, like, privately? The best thing I can offer is just, like, an encouragement of open communication. I think honesty helps with polarity greatly. I just keep referring back to these cards. Are you familiar with, like, what I'm talking about when I'm talking about, like, polarity, I guess? Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. Polarity just refers to, like, opposites. Like up versus down, right versus left, etc. They're a team, but we often put them at odds with each other. But they exist because of each other. Which is why when one side tries so hard to eradicate another side, it ultimately never works out. You cannot eradicate your shadow self. You cannot eradicate the other side of a coin. And sometimes we unknowingly try to eradicate the other side of a coin, kind of like what your father might be doing, by ignoring the other side of the coin, by only focusing on, oh, everything's fine. If I was to encourage any advice, it would just be like, there has to be open communication. There has to be honesty. And if neither party wants to explore that, I guess ask why. Like, what's holding what's holding everyone back from being honest with each other and expressing their like actual feelings. That's the best I can offer you without like directly interfering with your family's life. I love honesty. I cannot lie anymore. I was never good at lying, and at a certain point in my 20s, it just stopped being like a thing that I could even do. And it's something that I'm not interested in doing as I move forward and like evolve forward. So when I see other people hiding things and stuff, I mean, I'll withhold information. Sure, I'm not like a perfect human being. I still have a lot of lessons to learn. Um, and that's why I like it when people call me out. But it takes courage to call someone out. It might take courage to like call out a parent on something. Yeah, I hope that helped. I hope that helps in some way. I have a big savior complex, so I really want to like save your family, which is not something I can do. Wow. We're dropping frames every time I like admit a fault. That's funny. Well, Stephanie's new here and just I wanted to practice focusing on one person's personal life, which feels dangerous, honestly, but I don't know, it's kind of fun. I'm trying to be as like careful and cautious as possible. All I can offer you is like, you know, sometimes people go to card readers or fortune tellers or something and want an answer, and the answer has to come from within you. It can't be told to you. It is your life. I can offer you guidance, but I cannot live your life for you. It is your life. That's the whole point. Bless. Oh no, I didn't take it that way, Sparkle. Yeah. I'm just like, because I'm so like hyper. I've been worried about focusing on individuals because it's safer for me to do community readings. Because I'm afraid of misinterpretation and then feeling responsible for like a decision that someone else makes or something based on something that I tell them. I think that's why I've like held back from this. But it's like all you're gonna do what you're gonna do, and um, it is your life. It is your life, and so can you, Stephanie. That's what I'm trying to say. Like you can do it too. Yeah, I love you guys. I love everyone so much. This is really nice. Good for all of us. Good for all of us. I love this deck. I love these cards because the more that I use them, the more like comfortable I get with each of their definitions and how they can apply to a story that one of us may be playing out. Yeah. I mean, yeah. This can apply to so many different things. Especially, yeah, like a marriage or a couple or something, or even the self. Like we might find deep polarity within ourself and refuse to acknowledge both aspects of it. That's something that I deal with a lot. I think like in all walks of life. But gender is a big thing for me, like because I struggled so long to come out as trans, and then once I came out as trans, I think a lot of people really wanted me to be binary, like hardcore femme, hardcore, like a certain type of trans woman. And I tried for a bit to do that, but it's not me. Like I'm more fluid than that. And it took me like some years, I think, to sort of be like that instead of being like, oh, I want to be, like the ones you see on TV or whatever. I don't know. This is just something that's been coming up with me this week. So I wanted to share it with you guys. And being okay with like loving myself because of that, I guess. What is the desk called? Oh, the deck. Your mom's a witch? Cool. They're called the Galactic Heritage cards. They were developed by Lisa Royal Holt, who is a channeler of various like galactic beings and so forth. And it's just, I really resonate with these because I love, I don't know, I love, it's just like my thing. Like, I'm really into the idea of tarot, but I have a deck that I use from time to time, but I gravitate more towards this, and this feels like something that I can offer that is different from tarot or other divination decks. Like, it's more in alignment with what, like, the energies that I feel. I feel like this sort of like cosmic shamanism, um and I really enjoy, like, I love the modalities of tarot or witchcraft or astrology and things like that. I just see them all as different like tools, different permission slips where we're all sort of headed toward the same place, but it's like, just as I get older, just being more and more honest about which modalities I resonate with. And ever since I was a kid, I was very, very interested in, well, all of this stuff, esoteric stuff, paranormal stuff, magic stuff, but particularly shamanism. And uh, this is like, I know I keep bringing up that word, and people don't normally like associate that with like cosmic star civilizations and stuff, but to me, they're like very, very similar. They're very, very, very like, it's all consciousness. It's all about like awareness of consciousness and the unity of consciousness and the paradox of a fragmented whole, you know? Anyway, I have to pop off soon because I'm going to be on a podcast. And I think I'm just going to play myself. I was testing out different characters, and I think I'm enough of a character myself. So I even had a dream about it too, where I was like trying to be interviewed by someone and I was playing a character and people just kept getting in the way. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be myself. There you go. Yeah. Thank you all for being here. This is a very cool stream today. I work with these cards on Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings at 9 Pacific in the morning.
And you're hot and funny?
I guess.
I guess!
You're all very hot and funny. Let me show you my fucking face.
Panda Sarah won.
Yeah, Swan won that.
Swan won that.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are two of my heroes telling me that I won a raffle. Because I answered a question. They said, like, name 5 kaiju that Godzilla has fought. And I answered first.
Hot. You're fucking hot.
I'm attracted
to you. Way to go. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you all. Yeah, I won a little Godzilla action figure, and she's over there. This is always the hardest part, because I don't want to let go. I don't want to leave you guys. This is so much fun. This was a really good series of readings. Stephanie, thank you for opening up and allowing me to focus on you with an individual reading. I don't do that very often. That's right. Tokyo? I wouldn't accept Tokyo. Come on now. There's so many more you can't just say Tokyo. What's up, Wiz? Good morning. It's good to see you. Tokyo. I hope Shasta's going well. I'm assuming it's over now. Tokyo is the 5th character in that show. The Wi-Fi is being weird. I bet it is. Sometimes Wi-Fi gets real weird when we get all mystical and magical. Thank you for the love on the gloss shirt. I haven't listened to them in a while. I listened to them a lot for like 3 months, several years ago, and I bought this shirt. I was really into them, and I haven't I don't even think they're a band anymore. Shasta's over, you're heading up to Yosemite. How cool! Then you will sleep for a month. Enjoy Yosemite. Yosemite is a magical place, a wondrous place. How cool. I've had great experiences in Yosemite. I smelled a Sasquatch there. You know how I know that? Because the smell wasn't there on the way back. We were like, oh damn, there must be a dead bear around here. And the smell wasn't there on the way back. So I think it was a Bigfoot. And I'm sticking to it. We also saw lights in the sky. It was really pretty. When we got like really drunk one night and walked to a waterfall and just laid on rocks and just looked up, and we saw little lights in the sky like going around. And someone in our group was like, "Those are satellites," and someone else in our group was like, "Well, I've told you the story. Well, then why are they like zigzagging?" And because they were like, "Swan, like reach out with your heart, do that thing that you do." I'm like, we all have to do it together. I'm not the only, like it's like we all have to believe in the same thing. It's like freaking Peter Pan, like you have to. Please don't just put it all on me. Like it helps when we all lovingly reach out with our hearts, instead of just one person and then like 3 other people are sitting there afraid of lights in the sky. Yeah. So they were very far away and only some of us saw them, but that's fine. That's the best you can get sometimes with paranormal activity. It's all about belief and love and friendship. Friendship. That's a good theme. Yeah. Anywho, I have to go. All of you are just beautiful, wonderful human beings. Oh God. That is old. That is old now. You can be my friend. I think we're friends now, Stephanie. Thank you for the follow. Oh, that is old. Those are old vegetables. Okay, should we raid someone? Should we raid Cartoon Therapy? They're usually a pretty good person to raid after this. Did you all see the very attractive photo that I posted on the internet? Holds up mirror to your face, because that's... Yeah, okay, goodbye. I might not raid out. I might just like end it. Saboom's playing music. That's cool. Oh, Office Hours is live. Do they even like take raids? Okay. I'm just gonna... Let's raid Anchovy. Okay. Have fun. I love you so much. 18 viewers. That's fun. Hi, Spectral Symbol. I'm going to be on Val's show right now. I have to go in 8 minutes. I'm going to be a guest on Val's show. Were you in my dream, Sybil? Some of you were in my dream. It's good to see everyone. Making the rounds. I know. Prawns. Something I was supposed to tell you something. I don't fucking remember. That's my favorite thing. Like some psychic hobbles up to you in like a dark alleyway, like, I was supposed to tell you something, but I can't fucking remember. Acts cool. Hi, Prince Anime. You don't have to act cool. All of us are cool here. They call me the streamer's streamer. Everyone says that. Everyone calls me that. Oh, that's a cute emote. Okay, you have 10 seconds to profess your love for me. 5, 4, hey Sip, 3, 2, 1.5. Thank you, I love you too.